pick up where we left off, which probably really close to the end of chapter last time, but we went to the place in the mountains of Yagauchi that Reina had picked for burying the bags. Carrying corpses is a scary thing to do, but it made us united more strongly because of that. Since each part of the corpses is in a separate plastic trash bag, we can tell what's inside in each bag by touching it. First, force ourselves to laugh whenever we had to touch the bodies, because we were scared. After a while, we got used to it, the point where we could make jokes about it. Of course, all of that was probably a bluff, but we all tried our best. Mion somehow had detailed knowledge of how to hide corpses, and she told me to dig the hole deeper. Mia. The Sonozaki successor lessons are can cover some interesting subjects, I'm guessing. Rika-chan helped to carry the bags. Totoko used her talents of setting traps to perfectly camouflage the place where we buried the bags. Me? I was in charge of digging the hole. Dicky hole? Reina dug it earlier. I made it a little deeper. After we finished all that, we walked back to the place where we parked our bicycles, and we looked back at the place where we buried the bags. Completely unnoticeable. We'd never be able to find the place again once we left for home. That's how perfect it looked. They shouldn't... They'd, like, remove the parts, like, bury those, and not so much the trash bags. Because that would be... Although I suppose if someone came across the bones, then it would be... No, I guess I would still take them out of the bag, because... I feel like the plastic trash bags would still somewhat, like... would end up preserving stuff. Although I suppose there means if they're in trash bags, that might lessen the likelihood of a wild animal, like, getting up. I'm thinking over this way too much. Right. Thank you all for your hard work. We're done here. Time to go home. Mion said it cheerfully, as if we just finished club activities or something. We had no more bags to carry. We no longer had any burden to carry either. We got on our bicycles, but Reina was still standing there, looking into the distance. Hey, Reina. Oh, what? I'm sorry. I think I caught a cold or something. Feel feverish and dizzy. Reina's face looked slightly red. Mion touched Reina's forehead. It actually was a little warm. She had a tough day today. She had to go through so many things. She had to find a place to hide the corpses. She had to dig a hole. We caught her with the bags. Talked about our feelings. We forgave each other. She must be exhausted after a day like that. Reina, you should rest well when you get home. Yes, thank you. I will. Reina, forgave each other for everything. So don't blame yourself anymore, okay? Ha! You were right about me. What do you mean? Couldn't fool myself. No matter how hard I tried to justify what I did, I was still scared. Look at me, so shaky. Couldn't fall the help I got from you. Hadn't found me with the corpses. If I'd taken care of this alone, wouldn't have been able to bear the burden. Pretty sure I would have been crushed by the pressure. She said all this with a bitter smile. It might take her a long time to heal from the pain, but it must be 100 times shorter than the time it would have taken if she did this all alone. Reina's home was the closest from here. Reina went her way, and the four of us were left behind. Hold on a second. I realized something I think we need. Hold on. Okay. Alright, hold on. I found the right thing. Alright. A second. Okay. Just a moment. I'm sure the payoff will be worth it for all of you. Done. So done. There you go. Her friends help you get rid of the body. All right. It's somewhat okay, hold on. Hold on. All right, we're good now. I know it's wonderful. Mion made a suggestion. I think we should just forget about today. What do you think? I agree. I think that would be best for Reina-san too. Reina's a strong girl. We act like nothing happened. She'll act that way too. If you keep acting for long enough, it becomes real, right? We'll be able to forget by not talking about it. Our goal is to forget about it completely. I think we'll keep wondering whether or not the day of reckoning will come for the rest of our lives. You're probably correct. It's not going to be so easy to simply let it go. Even if I can't forget about it for the rest of my life, that's fine by me. The most important thing is to keep it in my heart forever. The most important thing is that we don't make her think about it. We nodded in agreement, just as my house came into view. Well, this is goodbye. See you at school. Just like always. Just like always. I will set a perfect trap for you, just as always. Goodbye, Kate-chan. After I parted... Hi, Foxglove. We just got finished with as friends coming together to help hide the bodies. And thank you for the fluid check. After I parted with them, I still felt hot, dizzy. Felt really weird. Was even staggering to the front door. Already 25% completed. Oh, good gracious. I felt as if I was floating in the air. I just took some very strong cold medicine. Today, something very shocking, something that made me super happy, something very embarrassing happened to me. I felt as if my heart and mind were about to explode, as they were filled to the brim with both happiness and sadness. I don't know whether I made a crucial mistake today, or if I had the happiest day of my life. I don't know which it is. All I could do was to stare blankly into space. I felt frustrated too. Even though they were my friends, I was caught in the act of abandoning the corpses. But at the same time, I felt relieved that my reliable friends accepted what I did. Those emotions were all mixed up in my heart. They were equally strong, making it difficult for me to decide what I was feeling. I was losing my sense of balance, like the world was warping around me. I heard sounds as if I was in a shower. Everything left me with a feeling of unreality. Those emotions were about to make me lose control. I felt a heat on my wrist. The part where Keiichi-kun grabbed me earlier started throbbing. My feelings weren't cooperating with me. The heat on my wrist calmed them down for me. I don't know how to express what I felt when my friends and I held shoulders together in a circle earlier. But the feeling was the only thing I knew to be real. I'm home. Huh? As soon as I opened the front door, I smelled it. It smelled really good. My father isn't good at cooking, but he likes to cook creative dishes. I remember he used to cook something very challenging whenever he was in a good mood. So this was a sign that he felt that way. That's why I always like this smell. The reason he's in a good mood is because he found a job. Not just any job. He found a job with the company created by friends from his old workplace. They remembered my father and promised to hire him. He told me that some of his other colleagues from the old company are also working there. Must be very encouraging for him to work with people he knows, because he hasn't worked for a long time. The dinner looked great, in contrast to how it tasted. It was a dinner to celebrate his new life, to show his determination, to regain his bond with his daughter, and to make a clean start. talked about a lot of things with my father that night. It had been a long time since the last time I talked with him like this. I don't remember when it was, but it reminded me of the days I was still happy, which meant that I'd finally returned to that time. My father still believes that Tepe is coming back one day, but he's still very cautious about locking the doors and windows, and he gets scared every time someone rings the doorbell. I told him so many times that they'd never come back, but I couldn't convince him, because I couldn't tell him the reason why they won't. I'll eventually realize that he's free. I'm sure it won't take too long. My heart was full of many, many emotions that day. If emotion could actually burst a heart open, it might happen to me. My brain must have been overworked because so many things happened at once. My head was still fuzzy. I managed to crawl into bed. Felt like the ground was moving. I totally lost my sense of reality. I remember that I once felt like this when I got the flu. Might get a high fever tomorrow. I don't care. I don't care if I get sick tomorrow. Just wanted to enjoy the fact that I took a step towards the future of my decision. Ichikun told me something like that today. The high fever and the dizziness made me feel frustrated for some reason. But whenever I feel frustrated, I felt the heat on my wrist too. I grabbed my wrist with my left hand tightly. Made the frustration go away, and it brought me relief. Even the dizziness I didn't like just before made me feel like I was in a down-filled futon. I was falling asleep in that down-filled futon, my first night in a new world. This dizziness didn't go away for a few days. I gradually got used to it. This new world looked like the world I used to live in before. But the sunshine was a little brighter. Ichikun's smile looked a little bit more gentle than before. We made more noise than we used to. We spent every day slowly but in high spirits. What an idiot I am. I underestimated that dizziness and I caught a summer cold in June. I wanted to get better as soon as possible. I should have taken a day off from club activities, but I forced myself to play with them every day. That made it hard for me to get better. I finally learned my lesson recently. I don't need to feel frustrated. There's no limit to happiness in this world. As long as we keep wishing for it, it'll continue forever. I don't need to feel frustrated anymore. Because tomorrow, I will have the happiness. Because tomorrow I will have the happiness I have today. Thank you very much for the fluid check. We'll have the Watanagashi festival next Sunday. Michan tells us we'll have a lot of fun and that will go extra crazy. Well done. So maybe the death and disappearance of Rina happens the same time as because we know that we learned that happened in a different chapter, so... And I was thinking it might not... So does that mean Rina is someone that dies every time, too? Although the other time with them, when they found the body, it was very different. Folks were thinking it was the Sonozakis were involved. With some of the body wounds. Anyway. Michan tells us that we'll have a lot of fun. We'll go extra crazy. Really can't wait. Do 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 boo 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 boo. You have received new tips, notice from the Forestry Service. I feel like we're not gonna like this. It's still June, yet the air is filled with the cries of cicadas. How is everyone in Hinamizawa doing? The Watanagashi Festival is coming just around the corner. New staff members from the Forestry Service are going to perform a wood sculpting demonstration at the festival. Be happy to lend our tools and teach your kids how to sculpt wood themselves. It'll be an excellent memorial gift. Also, we'd like to inform everyone that we're going to cut down trees in the local hills this summer as part of the number 4th Forest Landscape Management Project. Hold on. Thank you, Pengu. This project involves preserving the beauty of the forest by cutting down old trees and planting new ones. The Forestry Service needs volunteers who are interested in helping us cut down the old trees. You can enjoy the beauty of nature under the blue sky while helping out with this preservation activity. The project will begin during summer break. You can bring your kids too. It will be a good opportunity for your kids to learn about nature and have a valuable experience and how to discover Cupid rebates. Ahem. The location of the project are the forest and the Katsudo and Yugouchi. Yep. I frickin' do it. Just, Hold on. No, 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 no! Thank you, Dwight. And they said they would have forgotten where they hit where they took the bodies. Maybe they should have burned him and then then buried the leftover. I mean, if you did the burning at a different location, then you gathered the remains. And in a different location, you buried those. Because the biggest issue is more of the identification. Just removing any potential evidence and then being able to hide the identity of the bodies. What if you if you remove the fingers and then just bury although you could just bury those in a location, that would be a good effort. Because since it's just the one part, I figured that would probably decompose pretty quick. Just fingers, so fingerprints would be an identifying, and then like the heads would be a thing. Like burn those. Might do enough to like move a lot of the identifying things, and then you buried that. I mean, you just want to bury that with the other parts or whatever. I feel like I feel like that would be an efficient way of doing it. Also, once again, I'm thinking way too much on this. Why am I doing this? Why are we doing? I listen, you can't just like burn a whole, I mean, because you can't like, it's like actually burning a whole body is like very difficult. Like you have to have like special stuff. You can't just like, it takes a very high temperature to so it's more for removing as evidence than anything. So okay, once again, why am I still have, oh crap, this guy. Welcome. You like a hot dog? Shaved ice is the best you've ever tasted. You can have it with strawberry syrup, melon syrup, or Hawaiian blue syrup. Try our takoyaki roulette. Winner's packed with a ton of mustard. Wait, are we doing it from Oishi's perspective now? There are a great many booths at this year's Watanagashi Festival. Anything can become a festival if there are vendors selling food and music for bond dances, I thought. It's still June, but it had been extremely hot the past few days, almost as if it's already summer. When you have a June festival with bond dance music under this kind of weather, the only thing that's missing to make it a perfect summer festival is fireworks. Bzz, bzz. This is Kumugai. Ushi-san, can you hear me? Over. Oh, yep, okay. So that means I have to do his voice then. I heard a voice coming from my portable radio. This earphone. Looks a little like I'm secretly listening to the horse races while on duty. This is Oishi. I can hear you loud and clear. Town councilors gave us a lot of food. We have oden, yakisoba, pork belly stew, and, some barley tea. Mean the barley tea we can drink on duty? Or the one we can't drink on duty? Well, haha. Really tempted to evade say, oh no, it takes explain the context of me having worked in a funeral home for a few years. Okay, that yeah, you would definitely know. You have to have special stuff and everything. Even with gasoline, I doubt. I burned more. So if I need someone to help, so you know, if I ever need someone to help me like dispose of a body, you'll help me. You'll be the okay, good. It's like the meme says. True friends help you get rid of the body. What has this game done to me? Well, it's a lot, but there's a lot of cumulative things. The leopard's expert body bird. You know, I was about to say, you know, hey, where's, you know, where's the you know, we need the cremation simulator or whatever. But then I remembered, oh yeah, there is that game, the Mortician. There's more spooky things going on in that one, but it does apparently, yeah, the Mortician's assistant. Deadass thought it was. Well, I mean, probably for like a few minutes, I guess, as it load. It would be somewhat silly. And the demon shows. That's what spooky things happen. It's a simulator for the first 5 minutes. I mentioned that after that, certain liberties are taken. Which actually I did. Which actually she exactly. Dun dun dun. Which I do actually have that game as a result of like a bundle thing. That was a birthday gift, so stream it with. Okay, this is have to know. So I'm a total wuss. So I think I might have to figure it out, like figure out what to do with people helping me. You don't have to. Just enjoy, yeah. But let's now turn back to this spooky game. Although I guess it's not spooky, so it's horror, but not. It sometimes could be spooky. That's more of an oh crap. I'm also scared of cat. Yeah. It's a canned drink, I'll take it. If it's in a cup, don't worry about it. Roger that. And all the members of the town council are here to say hi. We have the mayor and the head of the Sonozaki family, too. What? That old hag or Yohu is there? Can you tell her that I'm patrolling right now and don't know when I'll be back? Well, I don't think I can do that for you, sir. She knows you have a portable radio, so she told me to call you and to bring you back here. She looks really mad. I'm sure it'll be a stroke that kills her. Roger that. Tell her with extreme courtesy that I'll be back soon. Please. Oh, I guess I'll have to go back and mingle with the locals. All of a sudden, a group of kids came running towards me from behind. For a quick look at them, I noticed that they were the granddaughter of the old bag and her friends. They occupied a corner of the shooting gallery stall, making a lot of noise. Mion Sonozaki. And acting her age, she's a cute, normal girl. But do I ever hate it when she acts like a member of the Sonozaki family. She'll be the boss of the Okonomiya Yakuza territory in 10 or 20 years. Just you wait and see. Well, I was thinking things like that. I noticed that Mion wasn't the one taking leadership of her group this time. It was the boy. That boy. I know him. He just moved here recently. The boy from the Maibara mansion. Teaching Maibara-kun, wasn't it? Was it? I heard that the Maibara family's from the city and they're supposedly very rich, too. But he doesn't flaunt his family's wealth. He has a good reputation because of that. Even though he just moved here, he's already adjusted to his new school. And he's popular with his classmates, too. Everyone in the village seems to like him as well. Very interesting to watch as a person of many moods. Boys of his age sure have a lot of energy. Ah, to be young again. Hey, you're up next, Reina. You're lucky it's your turn. Reina, are you okay? Are you feeling sick? I'm sorry. I guess I have to pass on taking a shot. Okay. You should take a break for a bit. So, that would make it my turn, no? Victory shall be mine. Looked like only 4 of them were having a good time. The girl called Reina seemed outside of that circle of smiles. Her name is Reina Ryugu. What's her real name? I couldn't remember, but I can check when I get back to the station. Rain is only a nickname. I believe she moved here a year before Maibara did. Her mother divorced her father or something like that. She's a strong girl who does all the housework by herself. She's a very modest girl, I'm told. She's rare in this era. Unlike Maibara, it seems like she hadn't really opened up to her friends just yet. They had looked like a group of 5. There's a distance between her and the others. A little sad, you know. Maibara has become a part of the village, but Reina is still by herself. Well, that's just how it looks to me. Uishi-san, the chief and section manager are here. Please, come back as soon as possible. Roger that. Can't believe the chief came all the way here just to say hi to the locals. I guess he's very dedicated to community service, eh? This is Takasugi. Uishi-san, can you hear me? You copy, over. Yeah, I hear you. My way back right now. I'll be there in a minute. Don't hurry up, then the chief might end up calling me. I ran back to the headquarters tent. I think I mentioned that they found the bodies, didn't it? Okay, it's demonstrating we had like the standard stuff. Uishi-san, Dr. Irie is here. Oh, thank you so much for coming. So what do you think, Dr. Irie? Uishi entered the cordoned-off area, and there, people from forensics were taking pictures of the corpses from various angles. Oh, of the corpse, okay. Not corpses. It's singular, where the kids are still in the okay. It's just, Tomatake is the camera guy, I believe. Kano's the lady, that's right. Both die every time. Yep, Ray was squatting down to the dead body of Jiro Tomatake. When he stood up, he looked pale. I can't believe it. I know, I can't believe it either. As far as I see, he clawed out his throat. With his bare hands. This isn't a normal way to go. Most likely, the cause of some drug or something. Who's saying he was a drug addict? Who knows? I guess it's going to be my job to find that out. Oishi-san, with this 2x4. Maybe he was swinging it around. Then he threw it away and had more fun clawing at his throat, I guess. Why was he swinging a piece of lumber around? Probably did it in self-defense. Did you notice there are several external injuries on his body? Yes, I can see some bruises. The easiest explanation I can think of is that he was attacked by someone on his way home to Okonomiya from the festival. He was seized by the culprit, given a shot of some kind of dangerous drug, went crazy and died. I've never heard of a drug that can make people claw out their throats. I'm not a specialist. Many drug addicts injure themselves when they're in a terminal condition. Well, I'm sure the old man in forensics will take care of the investigation. Excuse me, Oishi-san. Found a bicycle believed to belong to Jiro Tomitake about 100 meters away from here. Oh, that's great. Thanks for the find. Any other clues? Not yet. They're investigating it right now. So that means the place where the bicycle was found is most likely the place he was attacked. And then he ran away from the suspect and ended up here. Oishi frowned, crossing his arms in front of his chest. Irie was looking at the miserable corpse of Tomitake. He kept saying the same thing over and over. It's impossible. It's just impossible. Doctor, it happened. So it was possible, okay? Try to think flexibly. Although, I get that you don't really see something like this every day despite being a doctor. Anyway, thanks for your cooperation. You can go home now. We called you here for emergency medical care, but it looks like it was a waste of a trip. Sorry. Oishi stuck his head out of the blue tent and asked, "Did anybody give him a ride home?" Harry gasped all of a sudden as he turned to Oishi. What about Takano-san? What happened to Takano-san? What? Oh, your nurse? I think she was with him. Is she okay? You know her phone number? Of course. Kuma-chan, get her phone number from Dr. Irie and make someone at the station call her house. Understood. Doctor, can I have the number? Yes, here it is. Kumagai got the phone number from Irie, repeated it back, and then dashed away from the blue tarps. Doctor, Kano and Tomitake were close friends, right? Yes. You heard about any troubles between them? No. Not even once. They were very close. Oh, I hope she's okay. Worst case, she could be dead, or she could be the culprit. I see. Nurses have access to dangerous drugs. We don't have anything like that in my clinic. Even if we did, we'd be extra careful with them. There's no way Takano could smuggle out a drug from my clinic. But it's easier for nurses to do it than for regular people, right? Like I said, I've never heard of a drug like that. I don't have anything like that in my clinic. Oishi-san, she isn't at home. The standby unit says they're going to her house to check. Doctor, can you give me her address? Kuma-chan, can you also check if the police headquarters has found any unidentified female bodies tonight? Maybe we should check the other prefectures too. Tell the section manager if he can call the headquarters in the nearby prefecture and ask if they have any unidentified female bodies. Yes, sir. Are you saying that Takano-san might also be dead? Well, I don't know. Don't know if she's dead or if she's the culprit. Of course, it's possible she's not involved at all. He might just be getting drunk in a bar somewhere. It's unbelievable. Just things like this. Well, it's unbelievable to me, too. Hello, Pyro. Thank you for coming by. I hope you're well. This fits with the rest of the mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa. Been 5 years now. Would make this the 5th curse of Oyashiro-sama. Damn it. I've got to get whoever's behind it this year for sure. I really want to put an end to these cases before I retire. Do you have anyone you would get rid of a body for? I feel like I should either confirm nor deny that question on the grounds that I may incriminate myself. I plead the 5th. Oishi hates the curse of Oyashiro. It had been leading him around by the nose for 5 consecutive years. The victim of the first year, the manager of the dam construction site, was his friend. Despite his desire to avenge his friend, the mystery had only deepened, and one case after another, year after year. Decent work and made progress in the game I've been stuck in. Oh, good. Good to hear, good to hear. Oishi would be retiring next March. A retiree, he'd be able to ask about the progress in the investigation, but he wouldn't be able to take the initiative anymore. In other words, this year was his last chance for revenge. Would he have to put his head in the lion's mouth to capture the culprit? Oishi quietly clenched his fist. Leave. I believe that this maze is an exit. Maze is a very convenient word. A maze always has an exit. Don't call it a maze if it doesn't have one. I know I'm on the right path towards the exit of this maze. I used to miss these minor divergences. Now I don't miss anything. I don't make any mistakes. Sure you don't. This time I could feel a response that was different than all the other times. I'm sure I can finally get to the exit of this maze. But, no matter which path I choose to come to this point, Hiro Tomitake always dies. Wait a second. Is it Oishi that's speaking? I think. And we did experience this thing earlier when they were... group was meeting, Keiichi had like the thing of like somewhat remembering some of the events of like sort of like the alternate timeline or something like that. I guess we'll call it alternate timeline, I guess. So is Oishi doing the same thing? Doing that was Oishi, I believe it was. Reina had been sick ever since that day. She hadn't been able to join in on club activities as often since. Yeah, still feel feverish. You do, huh? That's a pity. Hey, Reina, why don't you just try and play with us today? I think you'll feel a lot better if you blow off some steam with us. You got this old man's agreement. Do you think so? Do you? Sometimes resting too much is bad for you. They're quite correct. All illness comes from the mind, don't you know? Everybody has suspected for a while that Reina isn't really sick, at least physically. Just that many things happened to her at once. She caught a mental cold. That's why I thought she would get better once she played with us, just like we used to. Seemed like Reina was aware of that too. She knew that she had to get out of her state of depression soon. She wanted to get better, and she wanted to have fun again every day. Okay. I'll do it. Great. That's the spirit. Considering the fact that Rain is still recovering from her illness, let's play a tabletop game today. Let me see. Mion started rummaging through her locker, humming to herself. She took one game after another from the locker and put them aside. That locker definitely didn't obey the laws of physics. You need to install something to get the better models, or is it just install that way now? Oh, on the game? It's the it is sort of like the default. The default does use the updated sprites in this, but if you go to but you do on like the config menu, you can switch it like updated and original, so that it comes with both. It defaults to the updated, but you can go to the other, which I like that as a feature. I can show that when when a character pops up in a second. Like right now. Yeah, it is. But like that. Then it's easy to switch back. She's gonna watch as he recommends something like Clue and then realizes, oh wait. Maybe a game about murders, not a good one. Oh, I forgot about this one. Let's try this. Today we'll be playing this detective game. I freaking called it. Barb's, yeah. What I have to say about this. Hi, Sophie. What's that? Sounds interesting. Well, this is a game where you guess the culprit, the murder weapon, and the scene of the crime. It is Clue. It's freaking Clue. I mean, it's off-brand Clue, but it's still freaking Clue. I freaking called it. I called it. Nothing like a game of Clue, like a week, like a little bit over a week after you've helped your friend hide a body. Favorite Jim Carrey's. Oh yeah, it's a great one. It's a great movie for sure. It could have happened like this. But it really happened like this. It's a game where you must use your brain. Mysterium. Mixed with mixed with Dixit. No, and I'm not familiar with Dixit either. You'll pick it up as you play. All you need to do is to note down the information you have. In other words, you need to learn the trick of note-taking. This is a game for intelligent people like myself. The rules don't seem that difficult. In short, the game where you sound out the cards each player holds in order to try and reason out the identity of the cards first drawn out of the deck. There are plenty of games in different formats where you try to identify something hidden in the least number of steps. This one just happens to be a competitive one of those. Key to winning this game will be how well you can organize your information. We usually like to play athletic games so that we can run around a lot, but in our club, you have to excel both academically and athletically. Alright, this is gonna be great. Let's play. Reina, do you remember how we still haven't decided the winner of the water gun battle? Going to settle it today once and for all. Oh, are you? Then I'm not going to go easy on you. If Rain is getting serious, I'll have to get serious too. Yes, indeed. Since that water gun battle, I have re-evaluated Keiichi-san and Reina-san. Next, it is a game where these very artsy cards and the clue giver describe the cards they are throwing in. Players have to match the description with one of their cards, and people try to guess where the actually is. Wait a second. Is that the one where it's like, you have like the like, or like little plastic spinny things that have like pictures on them, and you're like, is it someone that it's like, are they bald? And you're like, no, and the ones that it couldn't be, or it's like, do they have blue eyes, or stuff like that. So that's guess who. Okay. Yeah, I thought the name was like, I thought the name was like, but I think that was it. I'm going to be merciless today. This is getting exciting. This old man's been waiting for everyone to get this fired up. Excellent. Let's do this. Are you ready? I did it with a knife in the library. Okay, my turn. Keiichi did it with poison in the hall. My turn. My turn. Mion did it with a pistol in the lounge. You're holding the pistol, aren't you? You're bluffing. I think I know the suspect in the murder weapon. I've narrowed the scene of the crime down to 2. Oh, you're good, Rika-chan. I've narrowed down the suspect down to 2. It's hard to pin down which one it is. I'll give you a tip. There's always a hint in the questions the other players ask you. If you figure it out, you could even solve the whole mystery by the order of the cards the others put down on the table. I see. Damn it. Underestimated the depth of this game. Oh no, my notes are such a mess. I can't even read my own handwriting. Once you acquire the skill of note-taking, you'll have a 70% chance to win this game. But even a 70% chance won't be enough to defeat me. I kind of knew I didn't stand a chance of winning this game, but I gradually started picking it up. Reina seemed to be getting her energy back as she played along. It was the right decision to force her to play with us today. While we're in the middle of the game, Chie-sensei came into the classroom. My, look like you're having fun. Anyway, is Ryugo-san here? How? You have a visitor. Everybody looked puzzled. Parents sometimes showed up at school for some reason, but Chie-sensei never called them visitors. It's rare to have a visitor at school. I wonder who it is. Well, I have to go. You continue without me. Reina left the classroom at a run. What should we do? Should we wait for her? Well, we don't know how long it's going to take. Reina told us we could continue, so let's do that. Yeah. Around the entrance, the glaring sun and the cool shade made for a clear contrast. An old man who was holding his jacket on his arm was waiting for me. He looked like he was overheating and his tie was limp. And now this is where it's, of course, going to go downhill even more and faster. Because frickin' Oishi's talking to someone. It's just... Anytime he shows up, just be like this. Are you Ryugo-san? Reina Ryugo-san. Ever since Reina called me Reina, I've hated that name more than ever. Because of that, I didn't have a good first impression of this man. Yes, that's me. May I ask who you are? My car has air conditioning, so why don't we move this into there? Aren't you hot out there? He ignored my question and started walking towards the car parked in front of the school gate. He wanted to talk about something normal. Would have used the teacher's office. But he wanted to talk in his car instead. Couldn't help but feel suspicious. Yay, since he let him see me, though. That meant he wasn't a suspicious individual, as far as she was concerned. Who was he? I don't bite, you know. Please, this way. He called out to me while opening the rear door. Is he a policeman? Did the police find out that I killed those two? I felt anxious all of a sudden. Is this what they call a voluntary interview? I didn't want to get in that car. If I rejected his offer, it would only make me look suspicious. I prepared myself. Got in. Really cool inside the car. Car AC must cost a fortune. At least, my father's car doesn't have one. Please, let me know if it's too cold. I like keeping it that way. So, what's this talk? So, what's this talk about? Retaliation. I ignored his question and got to the point like he did. He pulled a small notebook out of his breast pocket, flipped through it. He picked out a photo from it. The photo showed the face of a goofy-looking man. Please, tell me if there's anything you know about this person. Back when Karisi was out, yeah. Game takes place in 1983, so. Which I feel like wouldn't be that much, but maybe it's more in Japan. It maybe was like cost more or something. Which I guess since you're far less likely to use, like, have a card to begin with. So then AC would be... The man in the picture was expressionless and looked half asleep. Sometimes you can't even recognize your own family members in a photo where they don't have an expression. But there's no way I could recognize a person who wasn't related to me. Anyway, that was a bit of a relief. This had nothing to do with Rena or her partner. There were scribbles on his shirt. We found the signatures of students at his school, including yours, Ryugu-san. Is this Tomatake-san? Don't feel his usual carefree unreliableness from this picture at all. From this half-awake, motionless face. How about this woman, then? I knew what he was going to show. Her name is Mio-san. Mio Takano-san. When did you see them last? I think it was right after the Watangashi festival. Didn't you notice anything strange? Wait. Did he show a body of Kano? But in previous ones, they said her body was burned. In an oil drum far away. Or does he just have, like, or is he showing just a regular photo of her? Didn't you notice anything strange? Anything? I was going to say, I don't think they would show a somewhat charred body to a teenage girl, but then again, I can't say I completely I can't say I wouldn't completely put that past Oishi. Didn't you notice anything strange? Anything? Please tell me. Did something happen to them? Yeah, I got it. To tell you the truth, wasn't sure if it was Reina or Mion. So you gambled? How risky. Doesn't matter how he won. What matters is that he won. Oh, Reina, welcome back. What took you so long? Mion noticed that Reina had returned. She looked exhausted. I had no idea what she talked about with the visitor. It was obvious it wasn't something fun. Reina, are you okay? What? What's okay? What? I'm talking about you. You look pale. Are you sure you're all right? Reina tried to convince us she was fine, but her face clouded over for a moment and she's decided to leave early. I shouldn't have forced her to join the game. I was regretting it a little. Reina probably forced herself to play with us, even though she wasn't feeling well at all. Reina put her stuff in her bag, apologized to us for leaving early, and left the classroom. Well, she's gone now. I guess we have to keep playing until we have a loser. That's right. Whose turn is it? Meep. Okay, Rika-chan, come on. Meep. Meep, meep. By 1984, 83% of cars had AC, calling BS. How many times you think she's meeped? Not as many times as she's gone Nipa. I shouldn't be surprised you did. Which, okay, someone remind me. There's a short little video based on like a comic or whatever for of joke comic for Higurashi that I need to show y'all. Do it at the end since I'm going to be uploading much of this to YouTube. I don't wanna just show another YouTube video and that, so I'll try to remember. Like, they said it was 83%. Was that in Japan or US or well, I guess just globally? US, but considering a lot of cars in the US were coming from Japan at the time, it's probably close. I mean, I said like this was it's a possibility or whatever, but considering like you don't really need like there would be like some families that wouldn't even necessarily like have a car. It would be kind of like a supply and demand issue. So then the further of a car with AC. Yeah, so yeah, that also probably would factor in. But yeah, it's kind of sounds kind of like the person who does this is like did the thing is Japanese, so I tried to do a quick Google, but it led me to a whole bunch of other stuff. I can't say I'm surprised. Took me to like models of car that came out that year, based more. Japanese car that came out that year. Okay, but this one's light red. So, who is this? First of all, I wasn't very close to Mio-san. I knew who she was, so I greeted her whenever we happened to pass by. That was about it. Never really talked to her except for the one time. That time was only recently. It was between the day of the Watanagashi festival and the day I was caught in the act of burying the corpses. Oh. Her dialogue is no longer pink, instead it's light red. I feel like that's a bad sign. I had a phone call from the library that evening, and I was told that my father needed to return the book he borrowed. He was shopping at the home improvement store at the time, so I went to the library to return the book for him. Still looks pink to me. I mean, it's sort of like pinkish. I guess it's kind of like... I swear it's changed. It's like... more of kind of like closer to maybe sort of like a salmon? Maybe? But it was like obviously pink before for her dialogue. I think. Game, stop gaslighting me. I'm seems to be as far as Reina. It seems to be Reina. Because she mentioned, you know, the friends finding her, finding the body or whatever. So if you were to look up at the meme above my head, the one on the left with red hair, that would be Reina. Okay, good. Someone, alright, good. Okay, I'm not the only one. As long as I know I'm not the only one who's having that moment, I'm... While I was there, I thought about borrowing some books for myself, and I started walking around the library. I saw her there. Oh, Reina-chan. Hello. Mio-san, hello to you too. I didn't expect to see you here. Really? I was going to say the same thing. I always spend time here, and I've never seen you. Hehe. She smiled in a very attractive and charming way that only mature women can do. The smile gave no indication that she knew her death was a few days away. She said that she often met with Tomatake-san at the library. Seemed like she had some time to kill, so she told me she wanted to buy me a drink. I had nothing to do after that. I let her buy me a canned iced milk tea from the vending machine in the library, and we talked for a while. I came to think about it. It was a little ironic. We mostly talked about the series of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa. She had no idea that she was going to be the victim of its 5th year. The series of mysterious deaths? You've heard about it at least once, haven't you? 4 years ago, the manager of the dam construction site was murdered. 3 years ago, the Haujo couple died. 2 years ago, the Furude couple died. Last year, it was Satoko-chan's aunt. A series of mysterious deaths have been going on for 4 years now. Hot different was like purple. Okay. Check the VODs. Okay, thank you. Alright. I knew it. I knew it. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure the change in color it's a bad sign. What did I say? When Oishi shows up, crap's gonna go downhill fast, okay? That is the pattern in this series. I've heard about it, but you don't know for sure that somebody will die this year. I do. Someone will die in a few days for sure. There's that old saying, everything that happens twice will happen a third time. When it's also true that when what happens 4 times will happen a 5th. Mio-san was convinced that the 5th mysterious death was going to happen. She didn't know She didn't know she was going to be the 5th victim. It's ironic, but also really creepy. There was always something creepy about her. Or maybe she knew that she was going to be killed in a few days, but still managed to make that mysterious smile. Series of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa. Of course, I know about it. I've lived here for more than a year. Every year on the day of the Watanagashi festival, one traitor to the village dies mysteriously. It's been that way since the dam conflict. Each case was solved individually. Mysterious incidents still happen every year. Makes me wonder if there's some kind of will to all this. The creepiness and incomprehensibility of it all gave rise to the name Curse of Oyashiro-sama, which fits perfectly. Despite this, I always thought this Curse of Oyashiro-sama was just a series of coincidences. My reason for that, because I strongly believe that Satoshi was the one who murdered his aunt the 4th year. Don't have any evidence, but I just know it. I know that Satoshi was in a serious predicament last year, that he had nowhere to turn. He had no one to help him. He had to save Satoko-chan as soon as he could. Satoshi thought it through and made the best choice he could to handle the situation, just like I did when I had my problem with Rina. I hesitated to inform Mio-san that Satoshi was the murderer on the 4th year, so I just listened to her for a while. According to her theory, a series of mysterious deaths isn't just a set of coincidences, but is instead a series of interrelated murder cases. Okay, so like the same stuff that's happened to Keiichi in like kind of previous things in terms of like the few days before and now the day after its seeming entrance of the Watanagashi is happening to Reina here instead of Keiichi. That's not good. Seriously, it's Oishi and this bitch. Everywhere they go, death follows. At that point, my theory was completely the opposite of hers, but I decided not to cut in. You know about the cult of Oyashiro-sama here in Hinamizawa, don't you? Kano started telling me that Hinamizawa was once called Onikafuchi. She also explained the story of how the villagers were in the old days, showing me the scrapbook she was so proud of. The villagers back then were called man-eating demons. They were also admired as transcendents, enlightened people not bound by earthly desires. Yep, same stuff. Yep. Didn't talk about the same people, same info. Why is it happening to her instead of Keiichi? It's a puzzlement. Sorry, I'm suppressing the urge to start Rogers and Hammerstein, The King and I. Anyway, ahem. So, according to your theory, a group of cultists who worship Oyashiro are living in Hinamizawa. They're trying to show the power of their god by enacting the series of mysterious deaths, right? I'm not sure if we should call them cultists or fundamentalists. The line between them is very vague. In the Meiji era, when the name of the village was changed to Hinamizawa, customs and the traditions of Onagafuchi were brought to an end. I think there are some people who want to revive those traditions and regain the name and awe of Onagafuchi. Mio's theory was more than a little crazy. It was also fascinating. At first, her theory had sounded like she was just jumping to conclusions, but after she eagerly showed me the document she'd been studying, I started to think that it wasn't actually too far from the truth. If her theory was true, being that the accidental deaths of the Haojo couple in the second year, the suicide and the death by disease of the Furuta couple in the third year, and the drug addict murder in the fourth year were all cooked up. It mean someone who has a lot of power and influence over the police was involved. When I pointed that out, Mio-san nodded in agreement, and she started talking about how strongly they were rooted in the village, and how deeply they were involved with many public organizations. Onazaki's. Yup. After she finished explaining all that, I finally noticed that Mio-san was suggesting that the three families, including the Sonozaki family, were the masterminds behind the murder incidents. In fact, the Sonozaki family is really very powerful. They hold influence not only over Hinuizawa and Okinomiya, but also over the entire Shishibone area. Might not be wrong to say that they even hold influence over the entire prefecture. The Sonozaki family is behind all of this. Her theory would be more realistic. But that means I should be suspicious of Mi-chan. No, I shouldn't. In fact, Mi-chan was very cold and unkind to Satoshi when he was going through a tough time. I know there was conflict between the Sonozaki and the Haosho families during the Dam Wars, but still, she was very cold to Satoshi. Mi-chan admitted what she did was wrong, and I forgave her too. I don't want to think about that again. I decided to change the subject because I knew it'd make me feel uncomfortable if we kept talking about the Sonozaki family. First of all, what is the people's belief in Oyashiro-sama all about? It's a little funny that demons and... Okay, hold on. Oh. Okay, so it was Reina that was saying that first part. First of all, what is the people's belief in Oyashiro all about? It's a little funny that demons and humans wanted to coexist. In folktales, humans usually try to wipe out the demons. That's quite true. That's why Oyashiro-sama is so interesting. However, there are actually many stories that say people in old days worshipped a god that had drifted to our world from the land of the gods. It's the worship of drifted gods, in other words. There are a number of myths all over the world about people worshipping a god who came from beyond the sea or from up a river. The gods in those myths are actually people who came from different countries, right? That's the general theory, yes. Ancient Japanese culture was far behind that of other nations. When Japanese people in those days saw a foreigner from a developed country, they were so impressed by the knowledge the person had, they started worshipping him as a god. That's one theory. I've heard that Red Oni and Blue Oni were actually foreigners who drifted ashore in Japan because their boats got shipwrecked. The Japanese may have created Tengu out of foreigners too. They probably saw a foreigner who had a reddish skin, with a very long nose. Wow, you're pretty sharp, Reina-chan. I agree with you. I think most drifted god worship are based on encounters with foreigners. But if that's so, Onagafuchi's drifted god worship would have a contradiction. Do you know what it is? No, I don't. It's easy. Onagafuchi isn't adjacent to the sea. Oh, of course. For to have any connection to foreigners, the place in question must also have a connection to the outside world. In Western countries, that connection would be rivers running between adjacent countries. In Japan, that connection would be the ocean. Though most of the drifted god stories in Japan originated near the shores. Isn't there a possibility that the foreigner washed ashore somewhere else first, and then traveled to Onagafuchi? Well, the thing about worship of Oyashiro-sama is, it specifically pinpoints Onagafuchi Swamp as the place where demons first appeared. The swamp isn't connected to any rivers, so how could a foreigner wash up there? That's why the mystery of Oyashiro-sama is so interesting. The first time someone else from the village noticed him was when they came at the swamp. Anyway. How much do you know about the legends of Oyashiro-sama? I just read a picture book about it in school. I feel like I know a lot about it, but I actually don't. I just have an extreme fear of the rule not to leave Hinamizawa. After all, my life went wrong after I left. I felt dizzy when I tried to think about it further, so I stopped. When everything went wrong in Ibaraki, I met Oyashiro-sama and he told me to go back to Hinamizawa. No. I'll get dizzy. Don't try to remember. Don't try to remember. I can't remember. Can't remember. Got desperate because I felt responsible for the divorce. I just used Oyashiro as an excuse for my mental instability, and I told my father I wanted to go back to Hinamizawa, right? Wait. Oyashiro-sama did come to me. No, the colors are too dazzling. I can only remember the vivid color of the pills and the dizziness. That's all you need to know. The demons come out of Onagafuchi Swamp, and they attack the villagers. Oyashiro saw it and came down to save the villagers from the demons by exiling them to hell. The demons cried and the villagers felt bad for them. They decided to let the demons live in the village with them. Oyashiro-sama was impressed by the kind hearts of the villagers. We gave human forms to the demons and let them coexist. The blood of the demons blended with that of the villagers as they lived alongside each other. That's exactly what I read in the book. I felt dizzy, like I was going to faint because I touched the one memory I didn't want to. People say that most myths are based on an event of some sort that happened long ago. What event do you think is the truth behind this myth? As I was still feeling dizzy, all I could do was tilt my head quizzically. It seemed like Mio-san was expecting that response because she smiled, looking satisfied that she successfully made me confused. She took a scrapbook out of her paper bag. I'll let you borrow this for a while. Thank you, but don't worry. Just read it when you have some time to kill. I want to know what you think about the things written in this scrapbook. I'd like to know even if you disagree with me, because you really are very sharp. Hiro-san isn't interested in things like this at all, so I appreciate your input. I had little choice but to take the scrapbook. Apparently, Mio-san came to the library often. I figured I could return it to her whenever I came to return my books. The color of the new text is the same color as the notebook. I think that may be a clue. However, the day I'd returned the scrapbook to Mio-san never came. What's wrong? You don't look good. Are you feeling okay? Caught a summer cold, but recovering from it. It wasn't the summer cold that was making me feel dizzy. I always get dizzy when I try to remember the time I met Oyashiro-sama in Ibaraki. It's 100% getting more red. Is it? With a game like this, it could well be doing that. And I'm just not good enough at picking up the color. My memory of those days in Ibaraki is blurry. I know I met Oyashiro-sama, hoping to believe me, and they told me it was a hallucination. But I thought Mio-san would listen to me. Mio-san, can I talk to you about something? Yes, of course. You listen to me, so it's my turn to listen to you. Text colors are an interesting detail I missed out on by watching the anime. Yeah, and it isn't surprising, I suppose, but the graphic novels are obviously like more detailed and stuff like that, and they also have like they're also able to spend more time on a lot of different things, especially on like the funny parts or whatever. The happy times before everything goes terribly wrong. This is gonna get worse, I know it, since she's gonna talk to us. Well, it's about Oyashiro-sama. You might laugh at me. I won't. You didn't laugh at me either. Said I'm going to turn your paranoia and stuff to all the way up to 11. So it has horrible consequences. Genuine question. What are the water fight 1 24-minute episode or 2 for a total of 48 minutes? No, it was just like a brief scene. Look, I can... Well, like, in the anime, it was like a short scene or whatever. I mean, on this, it wasn't like... It didn't take up a whole chapter or whatever, but it was like... Well, it was kind of lengthy. No, but I must make the film. Alright. Yeah, the first anime that was... The one that I had seen was just... Isn't it just 13 episodes? Over 13 episodes. I can't remember. Anyway. Mio-san said it in a very gentle and mature way. That encouraged me. And so I still hesitated to talk. But there was probably no one but Mio-san with whom I could talk about something like this. I gathered my courage again and spoke. I have met Oyashiro-sama. You have? Yes. I used to live in Hinazawa until right before I went to elementary school. My mother got a job in Ibaraki, so we moved. Well, you know what that means, right? Yes, I do. You broke the rule of Oyashiro, is to never leave Hinamizawa. That's right. And then, many things happened. My mother divorced my father. My family was broken. Got desperate and did some bad things. Must have been terrible. Then what happened? I started hating everything in this world. I started to feel like everybody who was happy was looking down on me. That's when a mysterious existence started to appear. You mean Oyashiro-sama? First time it came to me was please don't tell anybody about this. When I started injuring myself by cutting my body with a knife. Cut my neck. Something very dirty and gross came out with the blood from the wound. It was some... I'm not going to laugh. Go on. The chill I felt at that time came back to me. I sealed that memory away so I wouldn't have to remember ever again. Once I unsealed it, I started remembering things one after another. Back then, there was something in the blood. Something crawling. It was countless dark red maggots. They squirmed up and out from my neck with each drop of blood. But they wanted to stay in my body. They crawled back in through the cut. I didn't want those creepy things to get back inside my body, so I clawed at the cut on my neck to get them out. Clawing at the neck. Tomotage died by clawing at his neck. Not good. But it hurt so much, it only made my hands and neck bloody. I got scared all of a sudden. I was scared because I thought there were that many nasty maggots in my blood vessels. So I cut a blood vessel on my thigh just to see how it looked. I thought I could see it better if it was my thigh. And they oozed out from there too, so many of them. I understand, Ryuga-san, so please calm down. No, you don't understand. The maggots come out with my blood. When they try to get... Then they try to get back inside my veins. Just notice the feet. We got the Higurashi cry for a moment there. That's not good. Really, really itches. Ah! Bring a doctor. No. Don't claw at it like that. Bring me a sedative. Hurry. Hold her down. Please kill the maggots in my vein. Please take all the blood out of my body and flush my veins out. So many of them in there. Don't you believe me? I'll show you. Believe me if you see them, right? Okay, I'm guessing he's having a flashback. It's not at the... Okay. Burnt him a gift. Don't want to get any more shots. No. Calm down, okay? Mio-san sat next to me and held my hands tightly. Her touch brought me back to reality. Snap back to reality? Oh, the humanity? Sorry, that was... So, what happened? Would he believe me? But then he showed up. Oyashiro-sama came to me. The memory was very vague. I saw flickering lights. Made it difficult for me to remember. I met Oyashiro-sama. That sentence is all I remembered. The memory of actually meeting Oyashiro-sama was unbelievably vague. After I got out of the hospital, I continued being treated at home. Still felt something moving in my veins, so I wanted to cut my body to make the blood ooze so I could make sure that there were no maggots in there. Usually I was sleeping like the dead because of the strong pills I was taking. One day, I forgot to take the pill and my consciousness was very clear. I felt the maggots moving in my veins and I felt the urge to look inside. A vein on my wrist. I knew it. A lot of blood and many dusky red maggots came out from the wound. Wanted to wash them off before they crawled back inside me. I put my wrist under water in the bathroom sink and I tried to open the vein. Yep. Trigger warning. That's why I have the thing. Water, blood, and maggots run down into the drain. It's like squeezing out the pus from a pimple. I squeezed the vein to get rid of the dirty blood and the maggots. Kept doing it. My arms started to feel numb and I felt cold, but I kept doing it. Thought I might die from losing too much blood, but I kept doing it. Body was filled with maggots. I just squeezed all the blood out of me. Then, a very bright light shone upon me. It was a bizarre sensation. I had never experienced anything like it in my life. All of a sudden, the dark bathroom was filled with a bright light. Very bright but gentle. It wasn't like the light from the merciless fluorescent bulb. Very warm and gentle. That was Oyashiro-sama. Oyashiro-sama was looking at me with gentleness and sadness in his eyes. As he touched my wound, the maggots started melting and disappeared in front of my eyes. It wasn't all. All the maggots that were moving through all my veins disappeared too. Yashiro-sama taught me. These maggots were the curse. People of the demon's blood can't live outside of Hinamizawa. It's the rule. Unfortunately, you've been cursed. Very sad, and I feel sorry for you. There is only one way to save you. That's what he said. What should I do? The answer was very simple. All I needed to do was to go back to Hinamizawa. I unconsciously knew that, for I heard it from Oyashiro-sama. People who were born in Hinamizawa must never leave. But I broke Oyashiro's rules, and I left Hinamizawa. That's why my family was broken, and I lost my mind. If I hadn't left Hinamizawa, nothing would have gone wrong. So I had to go back. Oyashiro-sama also told me this. To make the maggots the embodiment of the curse disappear, but only temporary, because I live far from Hinamizawa. After a while, the power of Oyashiro would fade away and the curse would start eating my body again. That happened. The maggots would take over my body and I would go insane and die. Let's go back to Hinamizawa, before his power to hold down the curse faded away. That's what Oyashiro-sama told me. He did. I heard him tell me that. I should have gone back to Hinamizawa earlier. That's why Oyashiro came to put his curse on me. Gave me a chance. Gave me a chance to pay for my sin of leaving Hinamizawa. Dad, listen. Shiro is going to help us. Go back to Hinamizawa. Hinamizawa is the place where we must live. If we don't, not only me, but you might be cursed too. Go back to Hinamizawa. The only place where we can live. Need to hurry. Need to hurry or Oyashiro-sama's power will fade away, and my body will be eaten by the maggots. No, Shiro's following me. He's telling me to hurry. Follows me everywhere and keeps telling me to hurry. He keeps apologizing to me for putting his curse on me. Follows me everywhere and keeps apologizing. I'm telling you the truth. Oh, thank you very much, Sophie. You have a good night's sleep. And good dreams. Yes, yes. I am. Can anybody see it? Why can't they see the maggots or Yorishiro-sama? But he's trying to fool me. I know they can see them too. No, please stop. I want to get another shot. Ah. So honestly, it sounds like during the meeting of Oishiro-sama was like a near-death experience where it's like the thing learns. So like as the body as your body dies, it basically like releases a cocktail of chemicals that would basically be like LSD into your brain to ease the process. So in her case, in that instance or whatever, she yeah. Are you okay? Breathing hard, and Mio-san was holding my shoulders. I feel that the terrible memory I've been trying to forget was awakening. Doctors told me the memory was just my delusion. They told me that since I blamed myself for the divorce, unconsciously such a desire to blame someone else for it, I unconsciously connected the desire to the folktale of Oyashiro-sama that I read when I was little. Got drug treatment, received counseling, and waited. Gradually got better. That proved the things I saw were just a hallucination. Doctors asked my father to consider moving to Hinamizawa if possible. Fortunately, he wanted to change his living environment to heal his pain from the divorce as well. So, came back to Hinamizawa. I felt it. I felt in my bones that this was the place we should live. I also felt Oyashiro-sama's blessing. Definitely felt it. Felt the curse of Oyashiro-sama starting to break. I was free. Before I moved here, I went to the clinic, Golgura, for a while. The doctor gave me the same poisonous-looking pills. I kept taking them for a while. And then she stopped taking it, didn't she? The terrible memory gradually became unclear. Whenever I tried to remember it, I could only remember the strong side effects of the pills. It made me dizzy, so I regained my peace. Then I changed my name, Reina. The reason was because my name reminded me of those bad memories. I didn't want to have anything icky in my life anymore, so I came up with the idea of taking icky things out. I took the E out of the I out of icky from my name, Reina. Where only Rei and Na left. That's how Reina was born. Like that. When I was introduced to my classmates, I told them to call me Reina. Since then, that had been my name. I'm living my new life as Reina. Away all the sad things that happened when I was Reina. My father still calls me Reina, but I don't feel bad, as long as it was just my father and my relatives. But then, Reina came into my life one day, and she called me Reina. Because she called me Reina, those colored lights started flickering again. It'd stop. I should forget about it. The lights were still flickering. Sorry, am I panicking that badly? You were muttering to yourself. As a nurse, Mio-san should probably be more like... Her brain should go, I think this person may have PTSD. Among some other things, but... yeah, they are. I'm glad you calmed down. Judging by Mio-san's reaction, I wasn't panicking as badly as I thought I was. I probably had those panic hallucinations several times. If I started screaming and yelling like I once did, they'd take me away to a hospital again for sure. I'm certain I met Oyashiro-sama. Saw the maggots. I believe, right? Mio-san smiled, looked a little confused. Couldn't blame her. Didn't expect her to believe it. Sure, it was just a strange memory I created for myself in my hallucinations. Can't believe I can't trust myself. It's the worst feeling of all. I do have to say one thing about this game that I've definitely liked or whatever is there are a number of things of it's kind of like of doing good kind of like accurate effects on number of things pertaining to like mental illness and sort of like adjacent things. I mean, you know, there's still like issues, but like there's a lot of high budget forms of media that have done that I've been bad about it. The feeling of you can't trust yourself. Yep. Thank you, game, for understanding that. Reina-chan, first of all, you don't have to worry about anything. Yes, I'm talking about the curse you're afraid of. The maggots that you saw in your blood. According to what Oyashiro-sama said, you're free from them as long as you stay in Hinamizawa, right? Yes, that's what he said. Then, you don't have to be scared. Don't have to worry about anything. We're in Hinamizawa right now. Well, library is in Okinomiya. It's very close to Hinamizawa. Sure, it's okay with Oyashiro. Don't feel anything moving in your veins right now, do you? No, I don't. So, there's nothing to worry about. You're following Oyashiro-sama's rules. There's nothing you should be scared of. Is there? Right? No. No. Didn't know until then that she was such a warm-hearted person. Many doctors had talked to them about this. They always ignored me and didn't really listen. All they did was give me a shot of the drug I hated. On the other hand, Mio-san didn't deny my story or the existence of Oyashiro-sama. The people in this village whispered behind her back, "She's a little crazy." She was actually a very kind person, I thought. Reina-chan, believe everything you just told me. So much. First one to ever say that to me. So are you. The first one who didn't laugh at me and listen to me so seriously. I think we can be good friends. Mio-san smiled, touching my head with hers. Well, I'll let you borrow my secret files and my scrapbooks. You know, I was going to say, well, maybe she's handling this actually pretty good or whatever, honestly, kind of like trying to set her at ease and establishing rapport and stuff like that. And then the borrow my secret files and scrapbooks on my theories of pretending to stuff. It's like, and like murder cults and stuff like that. And yes. Wow, thank you. You see why I don't like her. What nurse school did you go to? Go to DeVry Institute or something? What? Or like off-brand DeVry Institute? These are top secret. Didn't want to show these to anybody, but you're special. I think I can trust you. I know you'll take them seriously. I just realized that some of my younger viewers may not get that reference. It was one of those get your degrees online, which itself is like, getting a degree from an institution like or whatever, but like that was the whole thing. And it's sort of like, if you ever saw the commercials, you'd be like, wait a minute, this sounds kind of suspicious. Didn't exactly have the best reputation in terms of, The term degree mill is a... For the joke I was Oh, okay. Oh, okay, I see what you did there. Alright. I was thinking so the others, like... So I didn't get misunderstood on my... Sometimes when I make a light joke or whatever, or a comment, I'm like, wait a minute, this could be misunderstood potentially. I'm probably honestly kind of a bit too paranoid about that, frankly, but... Anyway. She took a few scrapbooks out of her paper bag and handed them to me. Let me know what you think after reading them. There might be something in them that only you can understand. Mio-san was acting mysteriously. She smiled mischievously and put her index finger on her lips as a sign to keep it a secret. Too old, I learned today that one of my coworkers was born in '97. I had a moment of feeling like I was turning to dust. If I definitely understand that feeling. Ugh. One thing that makes me depressed when I realize it is like the children's programs I grew up with, and then the children's programs that Zoomers had to do with or whatever. Or like, I think it was specifically that example that made me think was, you know, there are some people, there are people now out there, there are lots of people now out there that their first exposure to Alice in Wonderland was not through, you know, the classic Walt Disney cartoon film, or through the books, but through that Tim Burton film. That causes me physical pain when I think about that. Listen, there's a number of Tim Burton films I like, although some of the films in terms of how much or whatever, like, you know, like I actually enjoyed the film Sleepy Hollow, and Corpse Bride was good, but there's a lot of films he made, and that Alice one was that just stinkers. And a descent into like self-parody at that point. At least I can have some solace that both Zoomers and I grew up on SpongeBob. Yes, this is true. For sure. And they at least probably did witness the good seasons. Cat in the Hat live action TV. I mean, I at least feel like Cat in the Hat is like... is a ironically... It could be like... is kind of... is almost sort of like entertaining in an ironic sense. But whereas the Tim Burton Alice in Wonderland, not so much. Hello, Kels. Welcome on in. Another stream, another filmmaker I've somehow managed to stumble into bad-mouthing. Oh my gosh. All I can think of is like... all I can think is like the show Parks and Rec. Or Parks and Recreation. But, I'm reminded of like the guy, like the kind of like nerdy guy that was, Leslie Knope's boyfriend or whatever. When there's the little of like, it was like he needed to like talk to like some, you know, like somewhat like nerdy people or something like that. And so another character's like, okay, just nerd it up with them. Like, about what? I can't just do that on this. I don't know. Talk about the new Star Trek movies. I can't just... Well, I mean, if J.J. Abrams is going to say the time travel thing, then he actually starts to go... I... There's a number of things that people can do that to me, honestly. What person of Grinch people grew up is a good way to gauge age. Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely a good one. Like, or what the first version of Scooby-Doo they watched was, I guess. That would also be one. We're not going to talk about the HBO thing. By good one, you mean that it's a good way to gauge it, right? First, in terms of, like, the first Scooby-Doo thing. Okay, good. All right. I was worried for a moment there. Do you mean the character or that show on HBO? Just so I'm clarified. That's just a clarification. The forbidden. I'm not gonna say anything. It's okay now. It's okay. We all have our vices. You know, there's some people that unironically like, you know, Neon Genesis Evangelion, so you know. Peeps are bad and Pepsi is bad, so you have to drink Peeps Pepsi. I'm not, no, I'll pass on that one. I grew up the classics because that's what just Cartoon Network used to do, was just show tons of old reruns. But Pup Named Scooby-Doo, I think, was around my childhood. Yeah, me, like, yeah, same thing with me, actually. Because, yeah, it's like all the, I do enjoy... Now that I've offended everyone in my chat. two wrongs don't make a right, but they make a very tempting wrong. I guess I could understand that. Listen, all I can say is I watched that series when it came on Cartoon Network all those years ago when I was in high school. And they did that in the mid 2000s, well, like 2007 or something like that, give or take a year. But I watched that whole thing, and then I saw that freaking ending. I was like, what? This is the ending? Have I been trolled? I've been trolled, haven't I?
I did not hit her. It's not true. It's bullshit. I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
Hi, Mark. Oh, hi, Shinji. Get in the robot. Get in the robot, huh? The ending was something for sure. I still watched the movie where the exec told the creator he had to make it actual ending. The ending of Evangelion, the television show. This being artsy or just shitposting? I can't tell. There's a YouTuber I like, called Sumeto Media, and you know, he will of course like make the joke and like he will make like the self-depreciating like humor about, because like he is like a genuine fan of Evangelion too, so he just kind of like he'll make jokes about himself liking. He's like, listen, I understand. I'm a fan of Evangelion. I get it. Either and or both. Yeah. An artsy shitpost. How to describe the original television ending of... Movies are really good, though. Yeah, I'd imagine. I just never, like... a fan of Fooly Cooley, if that's to say. I liked Fooly Cooley. Like, during high school, like, I had a major crush on Haruka. I'm not. I'll be perfectly honest. After a few years, I didn't have like so much a crush on her or whatever. I thought she's like a really cool character or whatever. It's the level of like, I don't feel like it would be like a good relationship, you know? She's not good like romantic relationship material. Cool friend, not so much on the other. And even then, the friendship might be kind of weird with her sometimes. What are we doing? Oh yeah. Ahem. She smiled mischievous and put her index finger on her lips as a sign to keep it a secret. Don't tell anybody about these scrapbooks or that I'm studying this, okay? A little bit mixed on the two they made before. I don't know for what reason. But, and I don't know, like, I still haven't watched, like, the new, when they finally did the new thing. I think what's happening is, like, the fact that I'm, like, so nervous about it, or, like, I'm unconsciously, like, really nervous about it, so I kind of, like, put it off. And then, like, just the out of sight, out of mind thing. You know? I'm looking forward to this, but I'm also scared. What if this ruins my childhood show? I guess adolescent show, excuse me, I guess would be the better thing. Felt like a battery tell you the first thing there was an interesting side story. I have to at some point. I'll need to watch him or whatever. I'll just do it very nervously. Because it's not like I'm against, like, doing sort of, like, a show that, like, takes up, especially, like, years later or something like that of a beloved series. I'm not exactly, like, opposed to it. I guess depending on who's involved. Like, if it's... Is it a lot of, like... Is this some of, like, the same writers, or just an entirely, like, new group of folks, you know? So, like... Because I guess at this point, it's something I would hope they do. If it was something like they did, like, maybe, like, 10 years or something like ago, or, like, several years ago, then it might be okay, but now I would just be scared if they did it. But, like, Cowboy Bebop, if they did... if they wanted to do something of, like, a pickup, like, years later, following, like, Radical Edward, or Radical Ed, and, like, just maybe, like, with an occasional, like, cameo of, like, other ones or whatever, but, like, picking up Radical Ed as, like, an adult. I feel like that would be a very interesting plot, or it could make for a very interesting thing like that, but they'd have to have, like, I feel like a lot of the original writers or something like that, and they'd want to have to feel like it's something they would want to do, but the few that actually enjoyed the Cowboy Bebop live-action series... Yeah, I suppose I never really, like, bothered with it or whatever. Like, I don't... The closest thing, and it was sort of like... Because it was, like, for a long time, one of the people that, like, fought for a live-action out of it was, like, Keanu Reeves. So... I guess I'm, like, kind of, like... a bit salty that he didn't get the role. I mean, at this point, it's older or whatever, but... Listen, if he dyes his hair and stuff like that, he can kind of pass for someone in his 30s much or whatever, especially with all the movie magic stuff they got. Anyway. But they did try to Americanize it like Dragon Ball Alita. Right, right. Anyway. You need to finish this chapter. Or the sub-chapter, technically. I'm telling you about these scrapbooks or that I'm studying this, okay? We're keeping this a secret? Okay, I got it. If they find out what I've been studying this, they might get rid of me. Hehehe. She laughed after she said that. They might erase her. That's what she said. She went missing. She left me her scrapbooks. That's not all there is to it. The way Tomatake-san died. Oishi said he committed suicide because of his state of excitation caused by some kind of drug. I know what really happened. I didn't tell Oishi-san about it. Don't think he'd have believed me even if I told him. Without a doubt, Tomatake died trying to get rid of the maggots. Yup. It's nothing other than the curse of Oyashiro-sama. To never leave Hinamizawa isn't the only rule of Oyashiro-sama. There are more. He might have broken one of them without knowing it. At least he told me. Tomatake was taking pictures with his camera flash on during the second ritual dance. Some people got mad at him for it. Did Oyashiro put his curse on Tomatake because he violated the sacred ritual dance? Might be for another reason. Anyway, he died from the curse of Oyashiro without a doubt. That mean Oyashiro-sama put his curse on Mio-san too? Investigating the gods is the same thing as getting close to the gods. It's disrespecting them. Mio-san told me that they might get rid of her if they found out about her investigation. But she meant humans. Plus, according to her theory, the three families are in a conspiracy to revive the faith of Oyashiro-sama. I can tell by the way Tomatake died that it was the act of the curse. I'm certain about that because I experienced the curse myself. First glance, seemed incompatible with those conspiracy theories about human beings. I remember that Oishi told me about some kind of drug that can make a person commit suicide. But do the three families have a secret drug that can cause the curse of Oyashiro-sama? It's impossible. Plus, I didn't get any shots of a suspicious drug like that. I had a normal life in Ibaraki. I wasn't involved with the Sonozaki family or the Kimiyoshi family. Oishi-san asked me a favor. He asked me to tell him secretly if I saw or heard anything suspicious. It could be about Mi-chan, Pika-chan, or anybody in the village. Mio-san told me a story about Oyashiro-sama, and now she's gone. Tomatake-san died by doing the same thing I did. No. I want to get involved with the curse of Oyashiro-sama. Is this a conspiracy of a group of fanatical cult members? Or is it the curse of Oyashiro? Is everything just a set of coincidences? Maybe it's a mixture of conspiracy and a curse. I don't know. Work of humans, the curse, or a coincidence? No. And the light of the sunset was making me feel dizzy. Did the sunlight in Hinamizawa get so mean? Mio-san told me to keep her investigation secret. I have her top secret scrapbooks. I might hold the truth about everything. I realized that. I got scared all of a sudden. I might end up the same way as Mio-san because I have her scrapbooks. It's a conspiracy, I'll be erased. Curse, I'll be cursed. Should burn the scrapbooks. That's the safest thing to do. Mio-san believed my story. Mio-san listened to me without laughing. I feel wrong to burn them without taking a look. Take a look. It's in a scrapbook. Conspiracy rainbow. Conspiracy rainbow. It's a conspiracy, I have to expose it. The curse, I have to break it. Shouldn't run away. Should fight. That's right. I decided to fight to seize my happiness. I shouldn't give in to misfortunes. I have to fight. I'm going to get rid of all the things that are trying to ruin my peaceful life. I'm going to read our scrapbooks when I get home. I started walking faster. You have received new tips. Lunch takeout list. Attention, Kurodo Mental Clinic. Kurodo Mental Clinic. Hello. Get straight to the point. We can assume that this is an acute case of post-traumatic stress disorder. The patient is subject to tremendous stress because of her parents' sudden divorce, being forced to choose to live with either her mother or her father. Furthermore, the patient firmly believes that she was responsible for her parents' divorce, which further drives her to self-mutilation. The patient's largest shock stems from a sense of betrayal of her own household, which she believed was an absolute safe haven. Henceforth, there is a high possibility that the patient will resort to psychological defense measures to protect her family. For example, she might feel high disdain for any person of the opposite sex who approaches her father. She might feel uncomfortable about having other people in her home. She may also display eccentric behavior in order to keep people away from it. As an example of the latter, there are reported cases of patients unconsciously bringing home garbage. It's highly important that the patient remains in close communication with her father. By deepening the communication between the two of them, they'll strengthen their family bond and loosen up her anxiety. Since the patient only shows sign of an acute syndrome in this case, there's a very good chance that she'll recover within 3 months with her father's support and proper medication. However, it's common for a patient who seemed to have discovered to have a sudden reoccurrence, a flashback, even after 10 years. Her father is still fairly young, and there's still a chance that he could remarry. However, seeing an unfamiliar member of the opposite sex through remarriage could trigger a flashback in the patient, which may lead to avoidant behavior or hyper-awareness. Please explain this part thoroughly to the father in order for him to understand the recovery process. Should the father decide to remarry, it's recommended that he should hold off in telling the patient until she reaches the age where she's capable of living independently. Also, the cause of the patient's psychosomatic self-mutilating behavior, delusional parasitosis, seems to be its own culture-bound syndrome. The patient blindly believes that leaving her home village will cause a curse, that this curse was the cause of her parents' divorce. We believe this is a subconscious defense mechanism to reduce her mental trauma by shifting the blame from herself to her village's curse. According to the patient's statement, the culture of her home village is extremely strict and exclusive. The patient believes there's no way to be saved from the curse other than by going back to the village, as the curse will continue as long as she lives in her current environment. Through this, we see an inclination of schizophrenia, and believe the chances are high that the patient will continue to alter their perceived reality. Schizophrenia, a case where patients' personalities are reduced, causing altered perceptions of reality and delusions. Her delusion about the maggots dwelling in her blood is a perfect example. It's also the cause of her psychosomatic self-mutilating behavior. When a delusion involves psychosomatic self-mutilating behavior, it's extremely dangerous. I highly recommend for the father to move back to the village if he's financially capable. Allowing her to live with relatives in the village might also work. Such a strong belief can induce symptoms such as self-mutilation, and there might be other cases similar to this one. Perhaps prior medical files that document similar culture-bound syndromes may be available at a large medical institution in our local area. It'll then be possible to provide better and more accurate mental care for the patient by obtaining these case files. This B5 size letter was with a bunch of memos. Following was on the back side of the letter. 1 chukadon, 3 Shanghai style gomaku yakisoba, 1 large fried rice. Really professional, my guys. Really professional. But did they flat out not, like... She not continuing, like, meeting with someone? That kind of sounds like what... That's not good. You know, like a professional or whatever. It hasn't been mentioned or anything like that, so... I feel like that's a no. 3 months, she'll be fine. We have some issues in the future, but, you know. Sadly, that's honestly quite believable, frankly. I'm off to bed. Oh, you're okay. You have a good night's rest. Actually, we're gonna be... It was quite short or whatever, which is my fault for starting so late, but, we're gonna call it for tonight. At where I am. So, but we'll be uploading to this to YouTube. In fact, if someone... Those that are watching this through the YouTube, I hope you enjoyed it, even if I rambled a whole lot. Y'all have a good one in YouTube land. Bye.